What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Save Point Podcast, Episode 8. I am Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Bully 2. This was actually, I have a story to go along with this, but this was something that popped up when Take-Two was announcing their Cancellation, the game that was canceled. And I actually, behind the scenes, I had made a video completely made, and it was ready to go, on Bully 2. And then it seemed like the general consensus online was that it was actually talking about Hangar 13's IP, their new IP, and then, where do they go after that, for Mafia or for something else? I made a video on that. Instead, I had to delete it and make a new one because I just didn't want to, I didn't want to spread fake news online. That's not what I'm about. But the interesting thing is the Bully 2 stuff did actually happen. It just wasn't what they were talking about in the financial report. Remember, in the financial report, they said, basically to investors, like, hey, this $53 million is gone. Like, we're not getting this back. We spent it on this game, and we're not going to move forward with the game anymore. And it's like, okay. And then, Special Nick, who's a guy we've talked about before on the channel, right? He said, like, and granted, I guess, he never said it was for sure Bully 2. But what he did say was that, he had heard some things. And I want to go over those things, in this episode, in this podcast. And I guess to just go right into it from there, right? Basically, what he said is that back in 2019, he had heard that the game was in development and was supposed to be announced in 2019. So he heard it in 2019, and it was supposed to be announced in 2019. Then he heard it was going to be announced in 2020 to then be released in 2021. So the game was actually supposed to come out this year, and it was supposed to be announced then last year, but it was maybe it was continued to be pushed. Then he said back in December of 2020, so we're talking literally less than a year ago, which is actually crazy to believe, right? Last December, Game Awards time, the game was canceled. He was told that the game was canceled and they're not doing it anymore. So that's the story. Now, as always with these, you can believe the guy, you cannot believe him. I have kind of staked several videos and several topics that I've talked about on the channel on, believing the guy. So I'll say my personal opinion is I do think he's trustworthy. Now, much like any leaker, is every single thing they say true? No, not necessarily. In fact, a lot of them are, more 50-50. Some of them are like 70-30 that they get things right. Maybe like a Jason Schreier is maybe a little bit higher than there. But, that's just kind of what you have. But I believe the guy. So and I guess in the video I made, right, that I deleted, one of the things I talked about is, well, I guess how much I hate, that decision by Take-Two, because really what's interesting, and I had called this in a video years ago, maybe like 1 or 2 years ago, in that we had heard this before. Part of this Bully 2 thing has actually happened before. I believe it was like 2017, right? Years ago, the game was actually in development and then shut. They and I think even maybe before then, there was like talk of wanting it to happen. But generally, I guess the idea was that the game had come back for a short period of time and they were working on it. And maybe, I don't remember it exactly, but I know I covered it. I made a video on it. Maybe like switched studios at some point, like internal teams that were working on it, but they just couldn't get it to work and they shut the game down. And I had said in that video, again, this is a relic of podcast now. I had said in that video, I wonder if they, just because you shut a game down once, well, why not try twice? Maybe the second time's the charm. So why not go back to it? And I said that. And funny enough, it feels like that was right. Now, I feel like all that stuff kind of gets buried under the rug because the game that they announced that was, officially canceled was, this Hangar 13 game, it seems like. Now, maybe that's wrong too, but it seems like it was that. And not Bully 2. Now, again, I think that doesn't mean Bully 2 is still happening. I feel like they're just maybe not saying it yet, or, whatever. Maybe it was not even so far in development that it doesn't even matter for them to say it to investors, right? Maybe Hangar 13, they put more money into that game than they did what Bully 2 was, although I don't really know. I don't really understand how it all kind of plays out. Maybe Special Nick is wrong. Maybe Bully 2 wasn't canceled and that person was wrong. But I'm going to assume that it kind of was. But it's just interesting to me, because moral of the story, right, that the game was real for a period of time, maybe back in like the 2015 to 2017 range. Then it seemed like it was gone. And then, like I said, like maybe they could pick it back up. And it seems like, if you believe it, that they did pick it back up, right? Maybe around 2018 or so. Now, I don't know. Because like a game that big, you'd have to imagine like if it was supposed to release, say, even in 2019 to 2021, like somewhere in that range, then it must have been started a long, long time ago. So maybe that first initial time they canceled it wasn't really real. Maybe it was just like rebooted or something. I really don't know. But it's always had these issues. Basically, right, is the point. The Bully 2 has just had so much trouble. And I guess the moral of the video that you guys will never see is I hate that. I think, I am a fan of GTA. I do. I like GTA. I've always liked GTA. I never really played a lot of the OG ones, the ones that people consider, some of the better ones. So like this GTA, trilogy remaster, like I'm going to be interested to try some of these. I have played like parts of them, but never like substantial amounts. In GTA 4, I played a ton. GTA 5, I played a little bit, but I was like into it. I bought it day one. I only have that version on PS3. I haven't bought the 8 other times, that game has released. But I am a GTA fan. I'm not a diehard, but I am. And I am a Red Dead fan. I actually really loved the first Red Dead. Red Dead 2, I just didn't play, nearly as much as I should. But I love the franchise, and I'll always take more. I love Undead Nightmare. I mean, I think that edition, but it kind of is a game of its own, right? It's amazing. Point is, I love these games, but I don't know. I just prefer, and maybe, that always gets spun out, on the internet, right? Where it's like, oh, you're not allowed to have your preference or, what you like. But I would prefer that we don't go, get a game, get GTA, 6 years later, get Red Dead, 6 years later, get GTA, 6 years later, get Red Dead. I mean, like, I don't want within 20 years 2 of each of like GTA and Red Dead. Like, they make so much money also that I just don't understand why they can't have more. Now they've there has been like outside games besides just those two, but those really are the two main dogs, and I really don't understand why you couldn't have more. Like, why isn't Bully 2 a part of it? Like, just add on more teams. They even said in the earnings report they added like maybe like 400 or 500 new employees over the last I don't know if it's the quarter or the last year, but over the last little while they've added like 400 or 500 people. Now that's obviously in all positions. It's not like a new team or anything, but the point being, I think you could do it. So I don't like that. I don't like that, we get GTA and then we get Red Dead, and then we get GTA and we get Red Dead. Can we throw in Bully somewhere in there? And I've always said, like, I understand it. GTA is like the best selling thing ever. So like you're never going to stop. You're just never going to, even if people want you to, because ultimately it's just vocal people, like say somebody online. But like then you look at the numbers and it's like, well, the people that are playing GTA Online every day, they certainly don't care. They aren't going online and saying, yeah, I'd prefer you throw in Bully 2 every now and then. It's like that doesn't happen. It's not coming from them, and they're the ones making, Take-Two all this money. So like I get it. I understand it, but I don't understand why you can't have it in all, why can't you have it both ways? Why can't you add in an extra studio? You're making, again, so specifically from GTA, so much money. Just make more games. You can do it. I think it's very possible. It's just that they don't. And Bully 2 always gets that short end of the stick. I think a game like that, now maybe it wouldn't work now because it's not politically correct. GTA probably has the same problem, and we'll probably see those franchises decline because they have to appeal to the crowd we have now, which is just, I think, not gonna work. And I think GTA 6, there was even like rumors or talk about that like they're gonna have to reinvent it almost for the modern audience, which is just immediately a bad thing. So maybe Bully 2 wouldn't work just in general, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it would only not work just for the softies, online that just, the 30 of them that complain on Twitter. People that actually would like buy it and enjoy it, they would outnumber them. But we know Twitter has, a lot of power nowadays. I think Bully 2 would work. I do. I also think the size and scope of what you can do, obviously there's been everybody has always pitched the idea of like a college campus. Like give us just this huge, because it was smaller in Bully. Give us a huge campus and just all these different buildings and these different departments and just all these different things to do. It would be incredible. I think there's a real desire for this kind of stuff, and it sucks. It sucks that, I guess it doesn't even just suck that, because even what I just said, GTA, Red Dead, all that stuff, that is one thing. But the sad truth of it is they've tried this now maybe 2 times. Depending on who you believe, depending on who you listen to, they could have tried and actually gone against what I had just said, right? Bully 2 is possible because they attempted it while doing GTA and Red Dead and all this stuff. And maybe the rumor was Red Dead 2 stopped Bully 2 from coming out. I don't remember that initial thing, but it just didn't work. Now we don't necessarily know why it didn't work, but they were able to do or work on Bully 2 while these other things, while the other, gears were in motion in the machine. So it sucks. It definitely sucks. I really, really want this game to exist. And, I guess third time's the charm. And I don't know. It's if you even believe it was 2 times. You know what I mean? Because if it was 2, that's just, I think, demoralizing when you're working on this game and, like, you're trying to make it happen and then it just doesn't work. And then maybe you try it again. Now, how many of the same people are doing it? Probably very, very few. But then you try it a second time, then that doesn't work. Or maybe it's just one gigantic time that fails. But I think there's a market for it. I think there's internal resources that could be made available for it. And I just think I can't pretend to know why they stopped, but I feel like they should keep going and try that third time, like figure it out, because I think the world really wants it. Again, I get Red Dead Online makes money. I get GTA Online. I get people buy GTA. I mean, GTA 5 has sold like 155 or 160 million copies. Like, that's not even fair. It's like Red Dead doesn't even, by the way, come close. Red Dead gets like 30, 40 million, like if they're lucky. So like Red Dead only gets like a quarter. Bully, I'd imagine, truthfully, that's why I think it's never worked. Maybe not even because of the political correctness or anything. I really think Bully 2, it would do well. It'd probably sell 10, 15 million units. I fully believe that. But the issue is, do they look at that and say, well, yeah, we were really expecting 45? And it's like, but like, I know Red Dead can do it. I know GTA can do it. But like, nobody, Call of Duty maybe can do it. Like, I don't know. You look at even like the biggest PlayStation games, God of War, which is one, God of War 2018, just announced it sold 20. Now it's on one platform, but it sold 20. You have Spider-Man, that sold like 20, 25 million. It's like, to get probably within the range that they want it to get, it has never really been, like, there's probably like 10 or less games in the history of the world that's made, you know what I mean? It's just how it works. I don't even know how GTA 6 will do it. I assume GTA 6 will be the biggest thing ever because 5 beat 4, which was the biggest thing ever, and so on and so on. So I assume 6 will do better, but it's like, again, it's actually just in this world where, like, you keep pumping more and more money, and then you expect more money, and eventually, like, that ceiling just collapses. You know what I mean? You can't expect every game to sell 150 million units, and then if you get that in your mindset that, like, that's the only thing we can produce, or that's the only thing that can keep us constantly making more than we did before, which is kind of the world now, right? Then it's like, well, Bully 2 just isn't going to work. Now, again, to my point, just sneak it in there. You can have GTA 6. You can have Red Dead 3. In fact, both of those will happen within the next, 10, 12 years. We'll get both of them. Zero doubt in my mind. Because, again, Red Dead will sell 30, 40 million, and GTA 6 will sell 150 million, and they'll be happy. Can't you just sneak in a 15 million selling game here and there? Now, again, granted, they kind of do that, but not really, and not for Bully 2, which is obviously the point of the video. So, I kind of just wanted to talk about that. I'll be very, very honest with you guys. As always, and I didn't say this in the beginning at all, which I'm sorry about, let me know, obviously, what your thoughts are. But secondly, anything you guys want me to talk about for future episodes of the show, topics, questions. I like to take your guys' input with these. And so I saw there was a couple in last week's episode. I can definitely do that again or use those in upcoming episodes. But let me know anything you want me to talk about in this video. I sometimes ask on the community tab, for suggestions. You guys can say it there. Remember, if you're a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member, your question, comment gets to the front of the line. So if you have a topic, and you're a supporter, chances are I'm going to be using that as a topic for the video. Okay, so links for Patreon is in the description, and then the join button is next to the subscribe button. That's for the YouTube memberships. If you guys want to support us there, again, you get to the front of the line for this, and you also get a lot of other benefits, throughout the channel. So thank you guys for watching. I do this show every single Saturday. I've been having a ton of fun doing it. You guys seem to really like it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next week.